I was like, oh, aha moment. And so I quickly mocked it up, sent it over, and Takesha was like, mic drop. Something about that. Right.
We weren't even planning on this shot, but because of your creativity, because of you being a subject matter expert, I had to trust you. And I'm so happy that I did because we came up with the winning shot. Hi, everyone. Takesha Shepherd-Jones here, founder and host of the Her Business Playbook podcast. And we thought that we would switch things up a little bit and take you behind the making of the Playbook brand. We feel an affinity towards this because we're, with each of our episodes, taking you behind the scenes of the brands that we love, but we thought we'd be remiss if we didn't take you behind the scenes of the making of this brand. And it's definitely been a journey, but I am so honored to introduce you to a driving force behind what you see and feel. And that is Kylie Lovsey. She is the namesake and founder of Kylie Lovsey Design. And I'm just excited to introduce you to her and for us to share some insights into what inspired not only the brand, but the branding that you're seeing every week. So welcome, Kylie.
Hi, it's so nice to be on. I'm so excited to be here today. I tried to kind of give Her Business Playbook with the colors today, a little deep red moment.
Absolutely. And I thought that I would add a little bit with my glasses, a little bit of that deep burgundy color as well that we're having a lot of fun with. So Kylie, you and I crossed paths by working at a marketing agency, one of the largest women-owned promotional marketing agencies in the country. And I was impressed really from the beginning by your design skills and creativity and, of course, infectious personality. I remember coming to where all of the designers, including yourself, sat on a daily basis, and you could always either hear you singing, laughing, just making the environment all around fun and engaging. And what I love about that is that you've taken that, what I experienced with you back then, carrying it to our team, to this very day. It's one of your personal brand characteristics that I just love. Why don't you share a bit more about your background?
Yeah. So I love that you said that because I think that one of the things that I'm trying to promote through my brand is working with designers is not scary. We are but mere humans, just like everyone else. And we can be a lot of fun to work with too. So I love that that's your impression from back when we used to work together. But yeah, so I started out in video production and found my way through different agencies, working for entrepreneurs, learning all about social media and video, but having that product design background. So all of those culminated to now me working for myself. I hit my year in business in October of this past year, which is super exciting. So new, exciting things for sure. But I've been able to focus more on branding and web design. Basically, what I like to say is I am your brand design extraordinaire. That's kind of the little term I've coined myself because at any touch point for a brand, I feel like I can make that connection point stronger through design. So whether that's your website, whether that is your logo, color palette, fonts, and then also, your social media, how that brand then starts to show up in your videos, just anywhere where someone is going to experience a piece or a part of your branding. I love to look at a brand from the entire top-down scenario to really get an understanding of your reputation, your values, and then push those out into the world for everyone to see.
And Kylie, you've gotten into doing some coaching and teaching as well, right? What are you doing in that space?
Yeah, so I have some workshops coming up this year, this spring, which is super exciting. So this opportunity allows me to basically help bridge that gap. A lot of the times, like we mentioned earlier, working with a designer can feel kind of intimidating. Sometimes there might even be a design language barrier where it's easier to hear from a designer than it is to speak to a designer. So I want to offer that opportunity for to make it feel a little less daunting to work with a designer, but also give people the language and tools so that they can have a better working relationship with that designer and also know that it is the right designer for them. Because I know sometimes, not every designer is meant for every brand. And sometimes there is a level of chemistry that has to exist there. So that's something that I also talk about in my workshops.
I couldn't agree with you more. Either you have chemistry, trust, or go find another designer to work with. I'm glad that you mentioned that dynamic is so critical. So let's talk about the making of the Playbook brand. So I bought you in the fold a few months ago, really. Once I had a better idea of the concept, I had already started to mark up some things. I knew that I wanted the brand to be sports inspired. So folks will see X's and O's and a lot of different sports analogies in large part because I believe that in business and in life, you can learn a lot about sports, even if you haven't played any type of formal sports activity, if you will. There's just a lot of similarities and things that you can learn even from the sidelines. So, Kylie, why don't you share some insight into how you took the vision that I shared with you and brought it to life from the color palette, some of the design elements, give folks a peek behind the making of the brand.
I love this. This is so fun. Okay, cool. Then I will actually share my screen because I wanted to show, here we go. I'll pull it up. The actual logo, just the logo and how we got there. So here's that pulled up for you. Okay. So we obviously see first off, the B is backwards and people might be like, why is the B backwards? It was a very intentional choice. I like to start there because that was honestly what kind of spiraled into this current logo lockup. I was on the phone with Takesha actually, and we were like, okay, so we started off with a different logo mark, then we moved on to this new font, and I go, aha moment, Takesha, what if I flip the B backwards? And your immediate response was like, let's give it a try. Why
Right.
not try? And so I flip it and then it just kind of hit me that this was what is going to pull that B out. The B stands for business, but it also stands for so many other things, right? Brand, you know, think of any B word in the world of marketing and business. So the B stands for so much more, but we didn't want her and Playbook to feel kind of played in a sense, right? Like we didn't want them to feel like they didn't have the same emphasis because her is important because we're talking about women in business. Playbook is important because that's really where you're getting the meat and potatoes and advice that you can then put into practice. So the HBP had to be kind of the same size and color because we didn't want it to be something too distinct. But then when we flipped that B, kind of makes you double take for a second. And as
Right.
you're staring at it, you're like, oh, okay, it pulls that B out, makes you think about it a little further. So it gives it a little bit more like hierarchy in that sense, but it doesn't necessarily distinguish it too much to where one feels overpowering the other. And then we added that curve that kind of echoes the curve within the B and the P in the H, just to give it that little flair, give it a little bit more personality. And then when we added the Her Business Playbook in the Poppins font, something about that, we were just like, okay, and we've landed and we're here.
Yeah, absolutely. And I've always been a big fan of this burgundy or like deep red colors. So I knew that I wanted to have that as a centerpiece of our color palette. You'll also see this spicy type orange color as well. Those are two colors that I pulled from a brand that I launched well over 15 years ago. So we decided to take that and make it even more modern. Kylie, can you talk about how you pop things with that blue color? Yeah.
Yeah. So you talked about the orange and that orange and burgundy. We knew going in, right? We at least
Yeah.
wanted those two, to kind of throw a little bit of a throwback, kind of homage to the original women's book. And so that is where these two colors came from. So we knew we wanted those, but as we were playing around, I was like, something else needs to exist within these colors. And originally we had, I think, a gray or some kind of a bluish gray. And then I gave us a little bit more blue. I leaned into this cyan tone. It's not quite full send cyan, but it's a little tone back. And something about that with the maroon, with the orange, it suddenly came to life on screen. And I was like, that was like the breath of fresh air that needed to happen to really bring this color palette full circle. And for me, that's what drew me in. You add in that arrow pattern, the X's and O's, referring to all the different kind of words, keywords that you'll hear throughout the podcast. And then it starts to really feel like, okay, I get it now. It feels like a brand. And it feels like you want to invest more. Like something about that blue makes you want to dive in to the maroon. But
I love it. And as you can see there, the X's, the O's, all of the words that we tend to use quite a bit, whether it's fumbles, the pivots, the winning plays, CMOs. We interview a lot of chief marketing officers, but also CEOs who oftentimes serve as the face of the brand, game changers. You see that word there. And then, of course, you can't do any of this without a great team. So, Kylie, you did an incredible job bringing the vision to life and even making it pop even more by incorporating things like the lighter blue color that you see there and all of the movement with the X's and the O's. Awesome job. I still can't take my eyes off of it.
thank you. I know that's how you know you love something.
Yes.
I'm big on feeling. I think about the psychology of color. I think about the font choices and how all of those little choices influence how you feel at the end of the day. And something we really wanted this to resonate with was not quite too feminine, but feminine enough that it resonated with women. But we also needed it to feel more like anyone in this area of business who is a leader, who is a chief officer, like they need to resonate with this branding big time as well.
Absolutely. Now, share some insight into the cover art for the podcast. I think we have such a cool story behind what people see every day when they especially pop on something like Apple Podcasts or look at our e-newsletter. Give folks some insight into how we came up with this.
Totally. So do you see I pulled up the art there. So this was such a fun photo shoot. We did photos for the website and then we also wanted to capture some of Takesha for the podcast art. Knowing that obviously she had this amazing velvet blue suit to work with the pop of maroon in on the top and your heels, and then you had the orange playbook in your hand. So all of these colors are already playing together really well. But then I was trying to think of scenarios we could put you in that would kind of create that attitude and energy that her business playbook has, right? It's elevated. It has a little bit of energy, a little bit of sass behind it, but it's also very like actionable. Everything about it's very actionable. So I wanted it to feel like you were literally like walking into the interview. And so I actually set Takesha up in the elevator, in a real elevator, in the lobby of Brainstorm Media. And my wife is the photographer, so she's geared up, ready to take pictures. I'm over there holding the door. Takesha's ready to walk out, trying not to get eaten by the doors. And so I hold the door. I run out of the shot. She walks through and does her like power stance moment. We get the shot, and it's just once I popped it in there with the logo, added in the arrows, really pulled in with that depth and dimension. She just shined. And the way the light's hitting your face and just everything about it, I was like, oh, aha moment. And so I quickly mocked it up, sent it over, and Takesha was like, mic drop.
As they say.
Something about that. Right. Something about it just like took it to the next level. The suit was hitting, the outfit was hitting, the hair, the smile. Like the photo did the work for us. Once I put it in place and added in the text, it was just okay. And that's the perfect move.
Yeah. And if folks might be able to see, especially around my head, the sun was setting. So like you were saying, we were running out of time. Also, we were afraid of the door, the elevator door shutting. So time was of the essence all around to try to capture this shot. I also had to trust you. You know, as a subject matter expert, we weren't even planning on this shot. We were taking photos, standing by chairs and posing here and posing there. This was not part of the plan. But because of your creativity, because of you being a subject matter expert, I had to trust you. And I'm so happy that I did because we came up with the winning shot. So I don't even like seeing myself in pictures. I hate taking pictures. But when I saw this, like you said, we knew we had something. We had
Yeah,
something, and then you judged it up even more by adding the X's and O's and some other design aesthetics, sprinkling, as I say, your glitter on top of it.
yeah.
And lo and behold, we got the winning design.
100%. Yep. And I will say, like, the challenges of photo shoots, right? Is like, it might feel super uncomfortable as the subject. Like, you're in a situation, I'm like, you're like, are the doors not going to close on me? Like, this is kind of like high pressure, high stakes a little bit. And we were working with the lighting and we're thinking about all these things. But I was like, I saw a vision, my wife caught the vision. And then when it was in practice, you're probably like, this is going to look so strange. But as you could see, it came out exactly how we imagined. You just lit up the room when you walked into it. And that's the energy that Takesha really brings to her business playbook. And that's what we wanted to capture at the end of the day.
It really helps when you have a great team. And so I highly encourage those CEOs, founders, that have to, just make sure you trust the folks that you hire to do a great job. You put all that work into making sure you have the right person, trust
Mhm.
them, even when you're not quite sure how something is going to turn out. So can't thank you enough, Kylie, for what you did here and wish the making of the brand, overall. We've had so much fun bringing it to life. There's more to come. Speaking of which, what is next for you?
Yeah. So not only doing the workshops, obviously continually working with her business playbook, and being the creative director, kind of overseer, but also
Mm.
I'm out here getting more and more clients in the space of branding. So I'm working on more and more branding opportunities, and you'll start to see more
Yeah.
and more stuff come out. I have some things in the works at the moment that I can't quite talk about yet, but I'm really excited about. So definitely more branding in the future for Kylie Lovsey Design. And if you're interested in branding, you know who to hit up. But
Yeah. What's your website address, Kylie?
it is just my name, kylielovesey.com. And you can fill out a form on there and we can figure out what next steps are for your brand and your business.
I would also say Kylie is amazing on social media. She shows up just 200% as herself and gives you some additional insight into who she is and how she works and what she's doing. So please find her Instagram. What other platforms are you on, Kylie?
Yeah, Instagram and LinkedIn for sure. Just
Mhm.
Kylie Lovsey at Kylie Lovsey. And I'm also on TikTok. I don't get on TikTok that much these days. Honestly, it's mainly Instagram and LinkedIn. I'm also on Facebook as well. But definitely give me a follow over to Instagram. That is my baby. I love that platform through and through.
Oh, yeah, she's excellent at it. So can't thank you enough, Kylie, again, for everything that you have done. Highly encourage, highly recommend, Kylie. Again, thank you so much and appreciate you taking the time today to take folks behind the making of this brand. We'll have to do it again sometime soon.
Yes, absolutely. I'm so excited. Alrighty. Thank you.
Thanks, Kylie. Thank you for listening and watching. We want to thank our presenting sponsor, the Columbus Chamber of Commerce, Brainstorm Media, and Kylie Lovsey Design. Listen and watch wherever you get your podcasts and visit us online at herbusinessplaybook.com.